Let's start with time and space. That sounds so cosmic when I read that back to myself. But really, it is about how far an individual is from experiencing an event. The word event, in this case, is used in place of all the possible words available to label the worst situations and experiences a woman could go through. The distance from an event can be thought of in terms of both time and till, as well as the physical proximity to the event. And depending on that very time and distance, there are both qualitative and quantitative features. Features which necessitate qualitative and quantitative differences in the considerations and responses. If you're thinking to yourself, what are you on about? Please bear with me. I promise this will all make sense as we get into the discussion. I have pictures. As it pertains to women's self-defense, asking the broad question of what do I do, or what do I do now, is a recurring theme. There is always a context or a situation, the momentary problem, with varying types and degrees of threat. And it is the industry that claims to be able to answer the question at every turn, with a given solution. But for the moment, let's forget about the industry and their proposed solutions and just consider some contexts, each with its own problem along with the related, what do I do? Question. Scenario 1, and we'll give you a cliché here. Someone has grabbed hold of you by the wrist and is attempting to pull or direct you somewhere. Scenario 2, someone has followed you to your car and is about to get closer than you'd like them to. Scenario 3, a friend of yours has asked you to accompany them to a party taking place at a location you aren't familiar with, hosted by someone you've never met. Scenario 4, you are out shopping at the mall and suspect someone is watching and perhaps following you at a distance. Scenario 5, you're in a locked bedroom and your no has been ignored. Now, if you would, see if you can take these 5 scenarios and plot them along a continuum from most likely to still avoid an event to least likely to still avoid an event. Oh, and I should take a moment to more clearly specify what we mean by event. An event is any instance in which a sexual assault is attempted, as is typically marked by the moment that the physical contact goes from non-sexual in nature to sexual in nature. And for the purpose of saving time, which I do so poorly, we will not delve into the philosophical discussion of what constitutes sexual in nature. This still makes the word event relatively broad in spectrum, as it can range from the briefest of sexual contact, in which the perpetrator ultimately fails at their intended goal, all the way to the perpetrator successfully executing whatever particular goal was intended. So the use of the word event is not dependent on the success or failure, or partial success or failure. It is used as catch-all for any attempted sexual assault or non-consensual sexual contact. However, in its most frequent usage, the word refers to attempted, well, you know, that terrible 4-letter word. Now, given our understanding of the usage of event, let's see if we can plot our scenarios along a probability continuum. Hopefully this wasn't too much trouble for you. After all, I wasn't expecting percentages, just a loose estimation of their rank order. Did you come up with 3, 4, 2, 1, and 5? If so, wonderful. Then we are on the same page. If not, then I fault myself with still being too vague and suggestive. Again, I promise things will become more clear before too long. For now, I think we can all acknowledge we see the logic in appraising different scenarios as being at different points on the spectrum of probability for an event occurring. But probability isn't the only thing that differentiates these scenarios. There are a number of both qualitative and quantitative differences across these contexts, and being able to accurately conceptualize these differences and the taxonomy that arises from them is part of the foundational repair we are working towards. We must have a clear understanding of what the problem actually is before we can effectively answer the what do I do now question in finding the solution. Hence what we are calling our temporal distance phases. Here is a glimpse of our continued discussion, in which we will begin examining in greater detail just what these categorical phases are and why their conceptualization matters with regard to women's self-defense. In the meantime, see if you can place our 5 scenarios into their most appropriate places categorically, just using this pictorial model. Don't worry if you aren't feeling too confident about all this, I assure you you will in time.